Hello class, this is Mr Elsmore and you're watching UAK Science. So glad you could join us. Today we're going to learn about bacterial and protist diseases. Before we start though, I'd like you to complete the recall quiz on Google Classroom. Pause the video please and do that now. Well done for completing the quiz. It's now time to go through the answers. So, measles is a viral disease, HIV is a viral disease, and COVID-19, I'm sure we all know, is a viral disease. The rest of those are either bacterial or fungal. The second question is looking to see which are communicable and which are non-communicable. It wants you to identify the non-communicable diseases. That means that you cannot pass it from person to person, unlike COVID-19. So it's not COVID-19. It's not measles because that's highly contagious. It's cancer and also diabetes. Question 3 is asking, does a bacterial cell have a nucleus? And no, it has only a loop of DNA and sometimes some plasmids, which are smaller loops of DNA. Question 4 wants us to identify the bacterial infections. We already know that measles is a viral infection from the previous answer. Salmonella and Gonorrhoea are both bacterial, but athlete's foot is caused by a fungus called Tinea pedis. Question 5 wants to know what the symptoms of Salmonella are. So we've got options: headache and high temperature, red rash on the back, coughs and sneezes, fever, abdominal cramps, vomiting, and diarrhea. Salmonella happens to be a food poisoning type of bacteria, so it's the bottom option there. What causes salmonella, you might ask? Sexual contact, sharing bodily fluids, ingesting food prepared in unhygienic environments, or ingesting droplets from sneezes or coughs. It is ingesting food prepared in unhygienic environments. It's a type of food poisoning. How might people catch gonorrhea? Well, thinking about it, if it's causing issues with the genitalia, it must be sexual contact, as ingesting food prepared in unhygienic conditions belongs to salmonella. Ingesting droplets or sneezes or coughs is cold, flu, etc. Next question is asking which disease is caused by a protist. So it's not measles. We know measles is a virus. It's not salmonella. We know salmonella is a bacterium. It's not HIV because HIV is also controlled by a virus, short for human immunodeficiency virus. So it must be malaria. Question 10 wants to know how the above disease is spread. The above disease being malaria, it is spread by mosquitoes. The extension question is asking about controlling malaria. There are two main categories those control measures fall into. You can either deal with the mosquitoes directly, you can poison them, you can drain swamps and places where they reproduce, and they also even release sterile male mosquitoes that mate with the females but do not produce fertile eggs. You can also wear long clothing at night, you can wear mosquito repellent, and you can also put up mosquito nets to stop you being bitten in your sleep. There are quite a number of ways to control it. Okay, so we're going to start today's lesson with a quick starter. What is the difference between a virus and bacteria? Write down as many things as you can and pause the video please. Today's objectives are to identify some bacterial and protist infections, describe the symptoms of malaria, salmonella and gonorrhoea, explain how we can prevent the spread of malaria, salmonella and gonorrhoea, and there's a challenge objective to evaluate the best way to prevent malaria. Time for a key word, guys. Pathogen. A pathogen is a bacterium, virus or other microorganism that can cause disease. Here are diagrams of a bacterium and a virus. Viruses are essentially just a DNA or RNA sequence in a protein jacket. And a bacterium is a living cell. It's a unicellular organism that's not got a nucleus. It's just got DNA loose in the cytoplasm. Both bacteria and viruses can reproduce very rapidly. They can go from being only a handful to being trillions in a small amount of time. Bacteria produce poisons called toxins that damage tissues and make us feel ill. Viruses live and reproduce inside cells, causing cells to burst. They reproduce themselves inside cells until there are so many that they burst out of the cell, and each one of those is going to go invade another cell, and this is why you get ill so rapidly. Take a look at the video link on the PowerPoint, or it's in the description below. So when it comes to bacterial diseases, the two that you need to know about are Salmonella and Gonorrhoea. It's time to take a short break for you to watch this video about Salmonella. Hope you enjoyed the video and found out some interesting information. The next task is to read through these 4 questions and read through the information to the side and try to answer them as best as you can. Salmonella food poisoning is spread by bacteria ingested in food or on food prepared in unhygienic conditions. In the UK, poultry are vaccinated against Salmonella to control the spread. Fever, abdominal cramps, vomiting and diarrhoea are caused by the bacteria and the toxins they secrete. Secrete means release in small amounts. And for anybody who doesn't know, poultry is chicken and turkey and duck, etc. It's birds that we eat. Question 1 asks, which pathogen spreads Salmonella? Question 2 says, what are the symptoms? Question 3 says, how is it spread? And question 4, how can we prevent it? Please pause the video while you answer the questions. Answer time now, so if you get your red pens ready, or any pen will do, and I would like you to correct or mark them with a tick if you got them right. Which pathogen spreads Salmonella? It's spread by a bacterium. 2. What are the symptoms? The symptoms are fever, abdominal cramps, vomiting and diarrhoea, general food poisoning type symptoms. Question 3. How is it spread? Salmonella is spread by ingesting food that's been prepared in unhygienic conditions. Number 4. How to prevent it? Food needs to be prepared in hygienic conditions and food safety practices need to be followed. Next, I need you to watch this video about gonorrhea. It's in the description, or you can use the PowerPoint if you are following with the PowerPoint. So now we've got a similar task on gonorrhea. We need to read through the information and then answer the questions. Gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted disease, or STD, with symptoms of a thick yellow or green discharge from the vagina or penis and pain on urinating. It is caused by a bacterium and was easily treated with the antibiotic penicillin until many resistant strains appeared. Gonorrhea is spread by sexual contact. The spread can be controlled by the treatment with antibiotics. Use of a barrier method of contraception such as a condom also works. Question 1 asks, which pathogen spreads gonorrhea? Question 2 asks, what are the symptoms? Question 3 wants to know, how is it spread? And question 4, how can we prevent it? Please pause the video now and answer the questions. Well done for answering the questions. It's now time to go through the answers. Question 1 wants to know, which pathogen spreads gonorrhea? It is spread by a bacterium. Number 2 wants to know what the symptoms are. The symptoms are a green or yellow discharge from the penis or vagina and pain on urinating. Apparently it's described to be like razor blades being passed through your urethra. That's the tube where urine comes out. Number 4. Gonorrhea can be prevented by using barrier forms of contraception such as the condom. It can also be treated with antibiotics when you have it. The next slide wants you to think about what you think the deadliest creature in the world is. We've got a rattlesnake on the left. Is that the most dangerous? Definitely kill people, but how many do they kill? We've got a lion at the top. Lions, surely very scary. They must kill loads of people. We've got a great white shark. Has everybody seen Jaws? Surely sharks kill loads of people. And we've also got a meerkat with some kind of machine gun. So a meerkat's dangerous. Probably not. The next slide is introducing the new part of this lesson, which is about protist diseases. The example we need to know about is malaria. You need to watch the video and take notes about malaria. The next slide is about protists. So I will read you the information. You can read along with me. Protists are a diverse collection of organisms. While exceptions exist, they are primarily microscopic and unicellular, or made up of a single cell. An example of a protist are the malarial parasites. The cells of protists are highly organised with a nucleus and specialised cellular machinery called organelles, just like us. At one time, simple organisms such as amoebas and single-celled algae were classified together in a single taxonomic category, the kingdom Protista. However, the emergence of better genetic information has led to clearer understanding of evolutionary relationships among different groups of protists, and this classification system was rendered defunct. Understanding protists and their evolutionary history continues to be a matter of scientific discovery and discussion. Questions. Are protists unicellular? What does unicellular mean? What has caused us to have a clear understanding of classification systems? Give an example of a protist, and as an extension, why can the malaria protist also be referred to as a parasite? What does it do? Key facts to know about malaria. Transmission. The malarial protist has a life cycle that includes the mosquito. The mosquito is the vector. Symptoms. Malaria causes recurrent episodes of fever and can be fatal. Prevention. The spread of malaria is controlled by preventing the vectors, mosquitoes, from breeding and by using mosquito nets to avoid being bitten. Now it's time to have a go at some past paper questions. Question 1 says malaria is a disease spread by mosquitoes. Describe 2 ways to control the spread of malaria. Question 2 asks what is the main symptom of malaria? Pause the video and please attempt these questions. Now it's time to go through the answers. Challenge task. You are part of a global task force for the eradication of malaria. You need to come up with 5 points to share at the WHO Malaria Conference on how the task force can monitor and help prevent malaria on a global scale. Things to think about in your research. How much will things cost to make leaflets, buy nets, buy medicine? How can we make people aware of the risks? How can we raise money? And what will the impact be? Good luck. Sorry guys, jungle. Comparing things is where you talk about one thing and the other thing at the same time. So you might be saying that they both do something, or one does one thing and one does the other thing, but you need to talk about them in the same sentence. For example, malaria is caused by a protist, whereas salmonella is caused by a bacterium. Salmonella causes fever, as does malaria. However, salmonella has other symptoms such as vomiting and diarrhea. It's talking about them in the same sentence, comparing them side by side. That's what comparisons are about, similarities and differences.